The NBA is changing. A new era. Over the last 6 seasons, the NBA has seen 6 different champions. It's the first time in the league's history that there are 6 unique champions in any 6-season span. So why is that? How has the NBA changed to such a point that the parity is unrivaled to any other point in the league's history? The 2020s have been a stark contrast to any other decade in the NBA's history. We've seen 5 unique champions in 5 seasons. So how's that compared to every other decade since the 80s? In the 80s, we saw 4 unique champions. In the 90s, we saw 4 unique champions. In the 2000s, we saw 5 new champions. In the 2010s, we saw 7. So we keep seeing an uptick in unique champions by decade. But why, since 2020, have we seen all unique champions? There are many reasons why we've been seeing an explosion. But that all changed when Hakeem Olajuwon won the award in 1993. Since then, we've seen a few MVPs who weren't born in America. But since 2019, that has completely changed. The last 6 winners have been all born outside of the United States. And of course, this won't continue where only non-Americans win. But there will always be non-Americans in this discussion, and it won't be just Americans anymore. And the league is filled with many different talented players from all nationalities. This is a clear effect on the parity of the league because Americans still take up the majority of the league, but now adding the best players around the world just increases the talent around the league. The NBA isn't just an American sport anymore. It's gone global. 125 international players were on NBA rosters last season. That number is only going to increase. Gone are the days where only Americans fill up rosters. More talent means more balance across the league. This isn't the only reason for parity, but it's definitely one of the biggest factors of why parity has gone so insane since the 2020s. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has made a clear effort into the increase of parity around the league. The prime example of this is the second apron. The second apron is designed to limit the amount of teams going over the second apron. When the teams go into the second apron, these are the penalties. NBA teams and their GMs definitely don't want to face all these super teams, which Adam Silver has said that he is not incredible.
Whether it's the players coming together themselves or, smart GMs bringing them together,
right.
You don't want to see too much talent aggregated in one place.
Apron is because super teams, you need to pay them a lot of money. And to build a team like that, it's hard because after you spend all that money, it limits your flexibility for the rest of the roster. So that's what the second apron is designed to do specifically. And of course, the second apron isn't the only rule change that has been helping parity around the league. And like another prime example of a rule change Adam Silver has implemented is the play-in games. And like the play-in games have helped teams be more aggressive because they know that if they're a 10 seed, they can still be a playoff team. Like if they're starting off the season bad, they can still be a playoff team despite being a 12 seed. You can, at the deadline, you can go all in and try and get in that 10 seed. And it also, on top of this, the reduction in lottery odds have also made it less beneficial for teams to tank, because nowadays the last place team only has a 53% chance of picking the top 4. How often do drafts go 5 deep? Go 5 like we're gonna have 5 superstar talents. It's not rare. It's very rare. So I think this means more teams are being more aggressive because it's easier to make the playoffs now, and it's also tanking is less beneficial. So that's why we are seeing teams be more aggressive and parity increasing. I also think another reason to think about why parity is at an all-time high is because of the player empowerment change that has taken place over the last few years. And yes, social media has played a major effect on this. Players don't want to be stuck on middling teams where fans talk about how they'll never win anything and how they're not very marketable. And players building their brand. And like the second teams are not trying to win and trying to compete with these guys, they don't want to stay. Like the second the team doesn't do what it takes for them to keep their star happy, why stick it out? Why be the noble guy? Like what did they get for Damian Lillard, right? Like that's what you see. Like it's a business at the end of the day. Like you don't see guys like Duncan, like Dirk, like Kobe, because why should you be like that? Why should you owe your franchises anything? Like you see Duncan, Kobe, and Dirk, they all won championships. They were also super patient, and there's also times where like especially in Dirk's case, that like it wasn't in his best interest to stay in Dallas. So you might think this hurts small market teams. It doesn't. Players just want to win championships. They want to build their brand. And the way to get the most exposure is by winning a championship. So they don't care where it is, as long as your team is building something. Like Giannis, for example, who people talk about, oh, he's like a loyal guy. He repeatedly said he doesn't want to be in Milwaukee if they're not trying to win a championship, because his only goal is to win. And that's how it's going to be. That's how it is for every player. That he is not willing to be there forever if they're not trying to win. And I think the final reason I want to talk about why Parity is at an all-time high is actually how the game's being played today.
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Steph Curry has changed basketball, bringing the game more and more outside. The more and more we see shots behind the three-point line, the more unpredictable the games become. And old head fans will say, oh, no one plays defense anymore. And that's just not the case. People, they're trying their hardest on defense. Like, defense is still being played. It's just so hard to be an NBA defender at this point. There's so many rule changes with, like, how the refereeing is nowadays. It's like anything can be a foul. And there's foul baiting nowadays. And then also, guys are being stretched out.
What did he say?
Guys are covering more space nowadays, with the game becoming more and more behind the three-point line. And also, another thing to think about for Parity is how games are being decided more on the three-point line. Like, it's more random chance than ever. Because I say that because over 39% of all shots in the NBA were three-point shots. So, with the league average being about 37%, essentially 40% of your shots have a less than 40% chance of going in, which just means more random variation. Like, back in 2000, only 16% of all shots were less variables in the game, meaning fewer random outcomes. Overall, I think the parity in the league is awesome. I think it's better for the game of basketball like this, and there's a lot of combining factors of why it's happening, why there's so much parity in the league. According to betting odds, 9 teams have a 5% chance or better implied probability to win the championship, while in 2018, only 4 teams had a 5% chance or better. I think when you're thinking about it, like going into the year, your team has a chance to win, and I think that's awesome. Anyone can feel like they can win a championship or start building towards it, and that's so much better for the game of basketball. I mean, I'm sorry, Pistons and Wizards fans, you guys have no chance, but and I think that's awesome. 28 teams feel like they can win a championship or start building towards it at least, and that it's in the near future that you can be contending. That's amazing for basketball. Alright, like and subscribe if you like the video, and leave a comment of why you think the parity is increased in the NBA. And again, sorry, Wizard and Piston fans.